I've casted a couple games for this league before, and I am really interested to see how Death Blossom bounces back after a 2-0 loss yesterday. It's really unfortunate for the mentals and whatnot. So we're going to see what comps they love to play on a bounce back day and how they seem to pick themselves up after a rough day of competition yesterday.
Yes, I will
Um,
also be curious to see what Blackout has to bring to the table here, because we saw some rather interesting compositions here. I believe Blackout was one of the. Wait, hold on. Sorry, I don't have Blackout. One of their matches pulled up. But we did see some interesting Farah compositions, which is something that I'm personally very interested to see a lot more of from some of the teams here. And I do remember that Blossom actually did play a bit of Farah, so I'll be curious to see if they decide that they want to bring that back out or again what their general strengths are and how they want to choose to adapt to
yeah,
things.
with Death Blossom being a very heavy favorite, I'm wondering if, we won't see a lot of mirrors today, if they'll get a little freaky with their comps and get a little outside the box, or die on the hill of the mirror with our glorious holding arms meta, as we know Ramatra kind of runs the game at the moment.
Yes, yes,
So will
a
be
lot of
interesting to see if they run the mirror or if they kind of devolve into their own way of playing the game.
yes, a lot of Ramatra, a lot of Kiriko Lucio, so much Kiri Lucio. We've been seeing that. In fact, it's almost the only backline that ever really gets very much play in Overwatch 2 on most of the maps, outside of Ana Brig on some of the escort and hybrid maps. Kiri Lucio just seems to be the dominant backline for almost every team, with the exception of Cuddle Puddle, I believe, which is a team that likes to run a little bit of Moira. So we'll be interested to see if anyone actually decides to opt out of running Kiri Lucio and opt for something a little different.
It's a little freaky with it. Yeah, I still think Juno Brig's a very optimal backline, but usually you don't see the Brig a lot run against the Ramatra just because he can slow her and he can get on top of her really
Yeah.
easily and punch through the shield after whip shot's gone. So it's
Yep.
kind of funny how first meta of this game was Kiri Lucio, and here we are almost 3 years later, and we've still got these two running the show, it
Yep.
seems.
Yeah, we'll see if we'll see what bans people will be opting for because this is one of the first full year of hero bans being a thing in Overwatch. So we'll see how teams decide to opt to play out their bans. I know me and Ghost for Checkmate, we've got a couple of strategies that we're looking for, and we're gonna use scrims to see how we can opt to use bans to adapt and throw off enemy teams compositions. So as we see more of what everyone has to bring to the table with the compositions and styles of play. It'll be really interesting to see how ban phases evolve throughout the course of the season. So
Yeah, I'm thoroughly impressed at how smoothly and wonderful bands have gone since their introduction into Overwatch 2. It was a big thing people were clamoring for at the beginning of Overwatch 2's lifetime. We didn't really get to see it. And then, we're here further down the road, and now we have map and hero bans, and they've been pretty smooth and pretty functional as we've gotten into our competitive season here. So it's really interesting whether or not people will, ban the meta or will target a certain person to get them out of their comfort zone onto a completely different hero they usually don't play. So I'm kind of interested to see what people have been cooking up over the past couple of months.
yes, yes. As well as it'll be interesting to see the flexibility that players might have to start to adapt this season. As with Checkmate, we are really, really good at a couple of compositions, but the flexibility is one thing that we've sometimes struggled with, but we've gotten significantly better at it, and I doubt it really will be a problem for us personally moving forward. But I'm curious to see for what other teams, flexibility and how they're able to adapt to people not being able to play their best characters. I'm interested to see how they'll be able to come up with solutions, who will be able to improve at and show different strengths in different areas. So a lot of really interesting stuff will probably be going on behind the scenes with the coaches. Coaches and general staff and players with trying to learn new things and figure out how they can make adjustments when needed due to hero bans.
I'm truly interested to see how much Symmetra gets played. At the highest level, Sim is a very, very disgustingly good hero because, they know how to call their rotations, they know when to call when and where to TP, and how to get that used to their best ability. So I'm really interested to see if any teams try to go the Symmetra route and try to, catch a couple of teams off guard because she is, man, if she gets that level 3 beam cooking, it is a nightmare to get her over and dealt with.
Yes, yes. I'd be curious to see in our first match if Blackout opts to play any of Symmetra, because I know they're a team or one of the teams. Although every team's playing it, they're one of the teams that likes running the Ramatra. So we will be. So I will be very interested to see what they like to put with it, especially knowing Shoreline is quite a good Ram player. We've experienced it in scrims, and he also plays a bit for Checkmate. So I've gotten to witness firsthand that he can be pretty scary on the Ramatra. So I'll be really
Can you
curious to
can you
see
go
if
into
anyone
depth a little
starts.
bit as to why people fear this sim RAM comp so much? Like what makes it so special and stand out more than other comps that we've had over the Overwatch 2 lifetime?
The sim RAM, what makes it really interesting is a lot of the things that it synergizes with. Like, for example, High Noon and ults that, I'm sure we're all aware isn't often one that shows up in the kill feed too much. But when you're able to use Symmetra teleporter to, teleport your cast around the map with the High Noon, you're able to control so much space and play so unpredictably. It makes a lot of opportunities for High Noon to catch people out of position, but it also makes a lot of opportunities to force errors. And that's one of the reasons that Sim gets played, as well as just her own ultimate is also phenomenal. Simwall, it's great in these Ram mirrors, especially against the Ram ults to split LOS, so you can limit the duration that Ram ult will go on for. 20 seconds of Ramatra just having like 400 armor, just constant AOE damage, and just sitting there and blocking makes it pretty hard to win your team fights. So we'll be really interested to see if there are any counter comps to the Ramatra that start to come up, probably involving a little bit of Symmetra play. Uh, I don't believe that we saw any sim from any of the teams yesterday in yesterday's games. Maybe a little bit. Did they? Okay, Death Blossom played a little bit of sim, so we'll be interested to see if they decide to bring that out
Bring out the sim, huh?
against Blackout. So, knowing the Shoreline is pretty strong in that Ramatra, we'll be interested to see if they decide that they want to use sim to try and cut some of that value there. Um,
Agree. And usually we see a lot of May casts with this sim RAM comps. You usually just you have the May to cut off LOS of supports with the wall or to keep their RAM in a a little funky position so their sim can build that level 3 beam that I talked about earlier. That is just really devastating when she gets to it. I mean it cooks. They call it the microwave for a reason, and it'll be not fun to tank against. And usually the cast is there to, hinder a Lucio, keep him from speeding anything, keep the ram off his back line.
as
Just,
well as mark some of these tracer players, because we've seen a lot of
yes.
really good tracer play. I know on Checkmate we have several people who are relatively proficient on the tracer. In particular, our resident tracer player, he's been really standout at times. We saw just a lot of really good tracer play from a lot of people though yesterday. So the tracer mirror matchups will be really interesting to keep an eye on throughout the season. To see which ones start to swing which ways. I remember Burtfield from Solar Eclipse. That was another Tracer player who was looking really strong yesterday. I remember in our match versus him, we had a bit of trouble with him. So the Tracer play is really interesting. So I'll be very curious to see who opts to bring out Tracer or who opts to ban it, who maybe
Uh,
doesn't have a super strong Tracer player.
Another thing
So,
to watch out for that we did see a lot over the weekend at EWC a couple weeks ago was a lot of people brought out the Venture to the counter comp for the Sim Ram thing, and Venture had a lot of good play and a lot of good counters to this Sim Ram comp. So I wonder if anyone gets a little adventurous and brings them out to the table.
yeah,
We
that would be interesting to see. I don't think anyone has brought it out, but it's not a super difficult character. So we'll see if anyone decides to
always
pick it
keep
up
that in the back
throughout the
pocket.
season.
It's always
Yeah.
back there if you want it.
Yeah, speaking of relatively newer DPS to the lineup, Freya made a really big impact with Geo just absolutely popping off on the Freya. I believe he got like a 5K or something. Like so we've seen some really really solid Freya play. Reverts, another person that played the Freya in their games. I mean, just like really really solid stuff on that character. So it'd be really interesting to see how that starts to develop, and maybe if she gets nerfed or buffed. But that is a character that people are going to have to watch out for. These Tracer players and these Freya players are doing quite a lot in some of these team fights here.
Talk to us the difference of why we would prefer the Freya over, say the Cass or the May or even the Venture, even though, most people haven't pulled out the Venture yet. Why would you prefer that Freya over those no, more brawly type DPS in a comp like this or in a meta like this?
Yeah, so I think a lot of what makes Freya really strong is similar to what made Sojourn really strong initially, where she's a hit scan that doesn't really like struggle that much when people get on top of them. For example, like dive comps, like Cassidy. Although he does have the hinder, he still can be really vulnerable to stuff like Diva comps or Winston. You know, if he bubbles off that hinder, Cass can start to feel really fragile. However, Sojourn was the first character that was more ranged and introduced a really good mobility tool in her slide, which allowed her to escape from the dives. Freya took that ranged aspect and then they just took the mobility to the absolute next level, to where she's just hyper mobile, right? Having that 225 HP pool, because she's just able to practically fly. Like, you play her like a Pharah almost a lot of the time. So that Freya is just, it's a character that'll be great against teams that want to play dive, that she's so good at blowing up dive tanks before they want to go in and just chunking their HP pool. Armor isn't that effective against her damage, since armor is a lot more effective against smaller increments of damage. So Winston, Wrecking Ball, a lot of characters just get blown up before they even try and get in, due to Freya's general spam pressure. It's like having Sojourn railguns, except you get like 3 of them every few seconds if you just get your dashes, and especially with her perks that give her even more dashes. Freya's started to look really, really strong, and she honestly has turned into a really good anti-dive character.
Kind of like
Because
how the majority of Sojourn players are taking the double slide now rather than the sticky. That mobility is just it's such a game changer. Being able to move and being able to get to different places faster than anybody else and control that space for your team. It's just a game changer. It's really disgusting.
yes, as well as she's really good. I mean, just the ability to two tap people. I mean,
Yeah,
that
that's
combo. She can take whatever angle she wants, and then just catch you off guard if she hits 2 bolts. That's
and she
a
can one
Suzu
trap.
and
She's
immortality
one
seal.
of the few characters that can one trap or one tap Tracer to the head. I mean, it's not a favorable duel for any character. If you're a good mechanical Tracer player and you blink past it, that Freya kind of looks like a cake sitting on a window or a pie sitting on a window. But if you've got a Freya player that can hit that explosive arrow to the head, it's one and done for you, and you're back in the spawn room and it's over.
Yeah, so a lot of really good Freya play was coming out yesterday, so be really curious to see if any teams decide to opt for a bit more Freya, or how they decide to utilize the characters that they play. Really, that's
Yeah.
good. Really, really good to hear. So he sounds like Crispy from
Crispy's
Rat
playing.
Milkers is
Yeah.
currently playing Freya
So is Geo.
against Cuddle
Geo just
Puddle.
swapped onto the
Yeah,
the Freya here for Cuddle Puddle. I've been watching this game as we've been talking to you guys. It's a
yeah,
pretty competitive one right now. We're
I know.
running. Red
Yeah, no.
Milkers has opted to run Genji Freya though into the Cass Freya, so that's a little interesting
Yeah.
caveat there.
Yeah, Freya has often seemed like she wants to take the role of the hit scan character in a lot of the comps that she gets played, and just apply a lot more of that ranged pressure. So there's a lot of like Freya Tracer, Freya Genji, but also because she has that hyper mobility, she's able to be played even with other hit scans, in like a sort of double hit scan situation where there's just a lot of ranged damage pressure, um, but still it has the ability to take off angles. It looks like Rat
Rat
Milkers,
Milkers
however, they
takes it
have
with the Genji
taken first
Freya.
map.
Yeah, first
Uh,
map goes to Rat Milker.
yeah, so we'll see if Crispy opts to play any more Freya.
Plays any more Freya today? Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
against
just
Death
so
Blossom.
strong right now, man.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, it'll be really interesting to see, especially with Death Blossom having some really unique tank selections. Remember that they played a bit of Roadhog yesterday. They played some Roadhog and even some Junkrat, characters who don't really do too
wow.
well into Freya.
See a
So
little Australian meta come through, I guess.
yeah, yeah, the Roadhog and the Junkrat. Yeah, there's. I mean, I think they'll probably be the only team opting for for these unique strategies. As a coach for Checkmate, I'm not really particularly inspired to try and take any of those for ourselves. So I'll let them have at it. They can play Roadhog and they can play Junkrat all they want.
So I know we talked about, the Ramatra holding arms meta as like a joke, but walk us through like why holding arms is so good right now and why Ramatra just has this stranglehold over the tank meta and you don't really see
Uh,
a lot of other things right now.
Yeah, I think part of it, probably the most important thing to mention is that armor and blocking is actually bugged at the moment to where the damage mitigation from blocking and armor stacks. The way that armor works is really weird. It reduces 7.5 damage per instance of damage, capping out at 50%. So effectively, it's just really, really good against pellet or small increments of damage like Tracer, Reaper, Sombra. But it doesn't do that much against larger bursts of damage like Freya and Pharah, who whose damage operates more in bursts. So characters like Tracer, who is really really strong in her own right now, due to the buff she got at the beginning of the season, does she just does absolutely no damage to Ramatra while blocking. So things like that are probably a bit of why we're starting to see Ram be so popular, as well as with the introduction of perks. I mean, he benefited massively. He has really, really strong perks with the damage on his staff, like the little shotgun spread being one that
Not to
generally
mention
people seem to be
the
opting
the
for.
E explosion that fully
Yes.
stops any and all momentum of any character that interacts with it is disgusting. I mean,
Yes, it is very strong. So it's really good against a lot of the characters, the DPS and support characters that are good. It's really good against Kiriko and Lucia, who are hypermobile in their own right, for tracking them down and making them easier to actually pick off. As well as it's good against Freya, who likes to utilize verticality, and Sojourn, who tries to use her slide to get away. But if you get a Ram Vortex, it turns them into really easy kills. So Ram, he's benefited heavily from perks, as well as armor's just kind of bugged right now. So he's a bit stronger than maybe he was intended to be by the devs. So we'll see if that starts to get addressed in some of the coming patch notes. Um,
let's hope because he really does have a stranglehold. Him and Hazard seem to be the two top dogs at the moment and don't feel like giving up the throne anytime soon. So we'll see if any teams feel like deviating from that hold arms meta or if they, stick to what's tried and true and what has gotten most people through their games this coming season.
yes, yes, will be really, really interesting to see. Uh, Genji, another character that we've started to see a little bit of. I don't know if it's because he's super strong in the meta, especially because, again, he doesn't have super high burst damage, so he struggles a little bit into those blocks, but he's also really popular, and everyone just freaking loves playing him. So we've seen a lot of Genji players coming through, and a lot of really, really talented ones. We have a good Genji player ourselves in Jeff for Checkmate. So really proud to see him doing well and showing off what he can do on the character yesterday in our match versus Solar. Um, so we'll be really curious to see, who starts to be a little standout on the Genji. So a lot of DPS that really have a lot of playmaking potential that are really strong in the current meta. Uh, Essentially can kind of ignore the Ramatra and get around the hazard and don't struggle into it too much. So it'll be really really interesting to see, how our DPS players in the tournament start to get around those tanks with all the damage mitigation, and if they're able to get pressure onto backlines, and it'll be really really interesting to see how backlines are able to respond and opt to shut down some of those DPS players. So with the Kiriko headshots and Lucio Boops denying space, it'll be really interesting to see the duels from backline that are taking place, in front of the tanks that will kind of just be sitting there and largely blocking if it's just a ram mirror or a hazard mirror or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
So
Run us, I've kind of gone down the list here, but run us through the Lucio Kiri backline. I know I said, 3 years ago when the first meta of Overwatch 2 came out, these guys ran roughshod over the support role, and now here we are. They're still running roughshod. Why is nothing else getting played? Why don't we see a lot
uh,
of Brig or Juno or some Baptiste now with the perk system? Because I know
mm,
Bap is one of the characters that benefited greatly from perks. Getting the dash for extra mobility and getting the extra shots through window really is helpful. Why don't we see anything? Why are we not seeing anything else?
yeah, a lot of it has to do with Lucio, who has just been like he is like John support for competitive Overwatch. I mean, he's just the guy. He's the goat for like almost every meta in competitive Overwatch. He has been there. He has been a central part. Brawl, I mean, it wouldn't exist without Lucio. His most recent competition, however, has been Juno, another support that offers that speed utility. However, she just doesn't quite have the same level of survivability that he does. So Lucio has really shown himself to be great at surviving in a lot of these really hostile metas against the hazards, against the Ramatras. His ability to deny space from them has really proved to be really valuable, as well as Kiriko being a good pairing with him because Lucio does struggle with supporting things from range, although Kiri doesn't. Especially with the perk to get the faster healing. on people who are below 50% health. She's becomes really, really strong at supporting off angles that she doesn't necessarily have to physically be with. Which is why the biggest competition to that Lucio Kiri, which we see on a lot of brawlier close range maps, was the Juno Brig meta that we saw for a bit. However, Juno has just been nerfed over and over and over again, and really you'll get like 50% more beats throughout a match than you will orbital raise, because that ult just takes forever to build at this point.
Yeah.
Brig is still decent in the meta. Generally seeing her with like Ana. Maybe you'll opt for a Juno Brig depending on the ban situation. But generally, yeah, we see a lot of Kiri Lucio just because, I mean, it's really good at surviving into a lot of these more hostile comps. It's good at marking Tracer, while Tracer is really good right now. While Brig might kind of die off of cooldown to pulse bombs. And with our first update going into the game, Blackout Eclipse has chosen Oasis as their first map.
Yeah.
So looks like that's where we'll be headed. It'll be really interesting to see what people decide they want to play. With a lot of compositional variety being present on Oasis. It's got some points with a decent
It's
amount of
got some
verticality.
verticality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you could opt for some divier things. You could opt for brawlier things because it's not like the most inaccessible verticality.
Do
There are
have the big
decent
jump
pathways
pad
to it.
on
City
the other
Center,
map.
yeah,
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 on
City
City
Center.
Center.
Yep, and on Gardens, yeah, you do have the stairways up, so
Got
it'll
the
be really
staircases
interesting to
up there.
see
Yeah.
what if there's any clashing of styles. If some teams opt for a little bit of divier stuff, I know Checkmate, we probably would. We are a little bit dive pilled. We just find it a little bit more fun. So it'll be interesting to see if they see like some dive versus brawl matchups, which is one that we got to see a really good look at with Checkmate versus Death Blossom, where they opted for a really brawly bunker composition with Bat Brig Torbjorn, which didn't quite work out for them, but it did give us a little bit of trouble. So it'd be really interesting to see, if there are any clashing of styles of play, how people decide to like make adjustments, throughout the maps. So
I will be excited to see. I'm not a big fan of the Ramatra meta or Hazard, but if I had to pick which tank I'd rather see played, I'd like Hazard a little bit more because he's just a little bit more dynamic, with the leap and the wall. And block is no fun no matter what character you're playing, even on Doomfist, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Doomfist block is broken. But Hazard is just a little bit more dynamic to me, The one-shot combo for them is there, even though it's really, really hard to pull off. His leap makes him very good at, controlling that high ground space that we talked about, that some of the Oasis maps have. And the wall, I mean, the wall is just so good. It's a zoning tool. It's imperative to the one-shot combo. It's, it can do a lot of things that Camacho really can't do. So I'll be interested to see whether or not we pull out the Ram or the Hazard on the tank roll.
yes, yes. I too will be really interested to see. Yeah, or again, if we start to see any people deviate from meta and start to do kind of
Yes.
specialist things, like if we have any
Maybe we'll see
specialist
some
players.
Winston.
Yeah,
Winston.
it doesn't feel super strong at the moment. It would be really, really nice to see, because he's just a
Be a
little bit
breath
one
of
of the more,
fresh air,
yeah, a little more honest characters. And also curious to see, because he does have a relatively higher skill ceiling. It'll be relatively interesting to see, if we have any people who really start to stand out on the character. I know Shoreline does have a pretty solid Winston himself, so it would be really interesting to see, what starts to clash and how things start to look.
Yeah. We've got
With our
Death Blossom
first ban,
banning Ana here.
yep, our first ban coming through from Death Blossom, so it
Very,
looks
very
like they're
interesting
actually.
ban. I don't know. You don't
It
see a
looks
lot
like
of Ana played. I don't know if Blackout has an Ana specialist over here.
it
Or maybe it's to
might.
protect a support ban for later?
Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, protect a support band as well as it could be something from scrims. Maybe
Yeah.
Blackout had a little bit of an Ana composition. I know Leo does play a little bit of Genji and Tracer,
Yup.
and Shoreline does have a bit of Winston. I'm not too familiar with a lot of the other players here.
And
But
Lucio Ana's not terrible. I mean, you've got the speed to move grandma around a little bit better. She's old. She takes some time, but the Lucio speed helps her with that. I know back in this is an old jump here, ladies and gentlemen, but back in 2020 when they played the Hog Sig comps, there was the Zenyatta version or the Ana version and a lot of people opted for the Ana version more. So Ana's been pretty strong throughout the entirety of Overwatch competitive play. So, maybe there's a little background details we don't know that comes out from the Blackout side, but
Yes, as well as another Genji situation where she's just freaking fun, man. She's just a really
yeah,
popular character. So they could just have a really good Ana player. Will
yeah,
be really interesting to see what Blackout decides to ban as a follow
bands in
up.
response, yes.
Because I'll be honest, Fire Blackout, I wouldn't be too sure considering what we saw from Death Blossom yesterday. They played a lot
Yeah,
of really
let's
unusual
dive into
things.
this ban system a little bit more. How do you feel? Do you think it's stronger to get the first ban, or do you think response ban is a lot better of a position to be in today's meta as we get the tracer ban coming
Yeah,
in here through Blackout?
all right, interesting. So a tracer ban from Blackout. I do know that Death Blossom does have a pretty solid tracer player themselves, so interesting to see that ban there and what they're opting to play. So it looks, I mean, clearly it won't be tracer. So I'm guessing we're going to see some brawl here from
Yeah,
Blackout. So
probably some
might
more
be a brawl mirror,
May.
but Death Blossom again could opt for something a little out of the box here.
Yep.
Uh, because I mean that's what we saw from them yesterday. So it'll be really
Back to
interesting to see.
my question here. What do you think is the stronger position to be in here? First ban or response ban?
Uh, I think generally first band's probably optimal because it allows you just to have more options. Like you can protect, you can opt to a lot of we've seen like I remember watching EWC. One of the most banned characters on the first day was in fact Mercy, just because it was a character that nobody was going to play on support, so it was probably protecting a Lucio or a Kiriko ban. So I think first ban it just gives you a little bit more options for how you want to choose to protect what you want
For
to play.
context, ladies and gentlemen, if you ban a role, the responding team cannot ban a hero from that role. So,
Yes, so you can effectively protect something by banning a character that you're not planning to play. You can just make sure that you've protected it from being banned. Interesting to see if that Ana ban is more of a protection of a support, and if they opt, to run a comp that is synergizes well with a certain support lineup, or if they just really don't want to see Ana or any
yeah,
like Ana
really
Winston kind
dislike
of
the
stuff come
grandma.
out. Yeah, so that'll be relatively interesting to see. But yeah, I think generally having first ban just puts you in a better spot. Just gives you more options. So,
A
uh,
lot of tracer bans as we walk into this first
yeah,
game. I do like the tracer ban a little bit better. They've recently took her up to 6 damage a bullet again, and everyone was freaking out about that.
yeah, yeah.
But
Tracer
they did, mid-season patch. They gave her a little spread.
spread nerf. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so it's
it'll
a little
be
harder to hit your shots. So I do like
yeah,
the tracer ban a lot more. I'm really interested though, because like now it opens up. I know Leo Leopard is a very good Freya player because I've played against him a couple times in ranked and a couple of my own scrims. He's quite the
uh,
good Freya player. So I'm wondering if Blackout banned the Tracer to open up his Freya to just, kind of server admin the lobby here.
Interesting, interesting. Yeah, so we'll take a look at it. I'm really, really just interested to see the tank selection from
Yes.
Death Blossom here because I know against us they played somebody who I believe they had on DPS to play Doomfist against us, which was
What?
very interesting to see. Yeah, no. So I mean, I'd be down to see a Doom team in the league. I think with the Power Matrix perk.
Power
That one is
Matrix is
really, really
disgusting.
strong. So I kind of see the vision if they do want to have a bit of a Doomfist comp running. Um, Looks like we're getting ready to enter the
Getting
lobby
ready to
here.
enter the lobby here, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
so it'll be really curious to see what we have rolling.
See what they'll
Um,
rock out on comps, see if there's any switches halfway through,
yeah,
and
yeah. Early prediction is something Kiri Lucio.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
Welcome to
All right. Let's see.
Oasis.
Our
All
first
right.
map will be
First Oasis map.
yeah, City Center.
City
All right.
Center. Alrighty.
City
So
Center is what we go
first
to.
initial
Yeah.
picks, we've got Ball Lucio Mercy Soldier from
Classic
Death
comp.
Blossom
Classic
here
comp.
with a little Sombra action.
Yeah. I'm assuming they probably won't be running
Yeah,
out,
this is probably
running
not
that.
actually what they'll run. They're kind of goofing around
Initiating
until they actually load in
Yes.
here.
Yeah, but on City Center, a lot of compositional variety here. Some teams can opt to
What are you looking
control.
at as the best here for these teams as we load into compositions here?
Uh, it kind of depends. Because I know Shoreline does play a bit of Winston, but with that Ana ban, Winston might start to look a little bit less favorable. However, Kiriko Lucio is still playable, and it's fine with Winston. So really, you could opt for quite a lot of things here. You could opt for something brawlier and look to control like the closer side of the map, around the cars.
As my
Look to
partner
control
called
there.
it, Shoreline looks to be initially on the Winston
Yeah,
here.
there
We'll
it
see
is.
if that changes anytime soon here. But I'm interested to see this Hanzo pick here. He did get
Yeah.
some buffs in mid-season patch. They made his projectiles bigger. They made Dragon a little bit more lethal. I know people complain about that ult a lot. That'll be an interesting thing to watch out here. For Death Blossom, we called the Genji Freya as something that we thought we would see. Interesting Mercy pick
Lucio
here.
Mercy.
Yeah, from Death
From
Blossom.
running a ball
Shoreline
top of themselves.
looks to control high ground here.
Say,
Oh my god, Kiriko almost dead already. Ball looks to slam and gets a big three-man slam.
Yep.
Shoreline's taking a lot of damage here. Looks like
They're opting just put their Freya Mercy on and off.
yeah,
handle.
big
Go in.
boop here from the ball.
Yep. Blackout
Slam
looking
again.
for a
Lucio 1
rotation.
HP. Freya is just back here with this Mercy, annihilating their backline on every slam. While the Genji Lucio looks to come from a flank angle and kill. Shoreline jumps backline onto their Mercy. Mercy's very low here. Looks like she can die here. Shoreline's eyeing the jump up to high ground as she flies away back to her Freya. Lucio gets in. Freya goes down. I didn't even see it now. The Mercy falls to the Hanzo. Oh my goodness.
It looks like Blackout will be taking our first fight here. And as we see, that comp doesn't really have too much to threaten a Winston here outside of that damage boosted Freya. So if Shoreline is able to maintain LOS in shorter sightlines and not get poked out by that damage boosted Freya, I mean, he'll really just be able to chew through Blossom's
It'll really be interesting to see if they stick out the Mercy here. I know Second Life, we've already got the Mercy here. They're sticking it out. But I wonder if, they stay it for the whole map or if it goes off in the second or third maps here. Ball looks to be on Hanzo here. Hanzo forced off the high ground early. Freya looks to duel their Genji. Leo Leopard goes really low.
Yep, Shoreline's chasing down this Lucio.
Oh,
Lucio
Deadeye
Genji, the
falls.
Lucio Genji
There
has been
goes the
taken out
Genji.
on the angle. It looks like
My
so
goodness.
they're just doing support DPS angle splits with sending that Mercy with the Freya and the Lucio just running
Shoreline
around
jumps
with
in
the
the back
Genji.
line. A little weird bubble. This Freya Mercy seems to be living really long here. I don't know why they haven't collapsed on this now. Here they come. Big
That
Suzu
Mercy
and then
block
they'll
making it
fire
real
on
difficult. Yeah,
There we go.
huge. So I mean, Blackout really not struggling too much into the very unique composition that Death Blossom have cooked up here.
Okay, there we go. Off
So
the
they've
Mercy
opted
on
for
the
they've
Kiriko.
opted for a Kiriko. Yes, this is
we
something a
go.
little bit more standard.
Ball goes
the mine's
alone.
coming out.
Early mines. I mean, there's nobody here to help him. Genji dashes in onto the Lucio, or the Hanzo. Excuse me, Hanzo does die early. Now
Onto
they've
the
got a
Picture.
Pharah
Kiri has
instead of
no
a
TP.
Freya.
Yeah, a lot of
Wins the
spam damage.
Kiriko.
It's going to be brutal
Pharah
to be
on
in
the
these
back
enclosed
line.
quarters against the
Kiriko
Pharah.
TP. She still lives. She's so low, but they can't get the kill. The Kiriko's gonna live. Oh, there she goes.
Kiri
She finally
gets fixed.
falls. Shoreline
JML
board
on that
looking to
Pharah.
stall.
Absolutely chewing through them as they were stuck in that enclosed quarters there. All the Leo's left alone on point, and he
Big
will
stagger.
fall. So it looks like with
But
Blackout
they
is hearing
dumped
77%.
a lot of ults here. I mean,
Yeah. So this is
Blackout
looking
has
really
5
good for
ults.
Blackout.
I mean-
They just take their time, stage and set up, and clear angles from Death Blossom. They should win this next fight relatively convincingly.
relatively easily, yeah.
If Blossom is able to just make it messy, do something crazy, just like go honestly send their Pharah and like Lucy or
Shoreline looks
Genji's
to
on a
force
hard
point
flank.
early. Kiriko TP, so the Winston Blade comes out early.
Going
Now
Genji
gets ready to
early with the
respond,
Blade.
And now we beat. Everybody's hitting Q. Blade gets one onto the Hanzo. Kiriko looks to die. There we go. Leo gets one with the Blade. He's looking for the ball.
Awesome.
Ball low. Ball dies. Now we're looking for the Genji. Wow, the overwhelming ult advantage comes through, and they still didn't even have to use Primal or Dragons. They still have more ults for this next fight.
Yeah,
If
this
there
is gonna
even
be
is one.
really rough for Death Blossom here. Only thing they're coming up on is beat. They might be able to get a barrage mid fight, but with Primal
Mark
coming
comes
in
over
from
the top right
Shorelight
to look for
here.
touch. Ball gets there, just barely triggers the OT. Lucio comes through. He's very low already. He can die very quickly here if he's
Lucio's-
not careful.
Lucio's gotten out, but Deadeye,
Get his
1
health
HP
back.
on that
Hanzo
Genji.
in a bad spot. Hanzo goes to the Pharah. Now the Genji dashes up on the high ground to chow the Pharah. Pharah very
JML
low.
getting a
Moves
pick
out of there.
here.
Here we
Yeah.
go.
JML has made
Shoreline
things messy.
Jumps back
This
to
is
the back
winnable.
line. Focuses on that Lucio. Forces the beat early. Big beat hits all 4 people on point. Ball dives in. Gets Leo Leopard on the coast. Didn't see where that happened, but that's not good. Shoreline gets Susan on the point, gets a kill on the Deadeye. That's big. He can prime, or he's already used Primal, excuse me. Don't know where that happened.
And it looks like Blossom has been able to come through and make this fight real messy. This is looking really good for them. They're starting to get their ult bank, and it's a Blackout still haven't used that dragon yet.
Still holding on to it.
Yeah, well, this will be really interesting. We have ourselves a match. They were able to overcome the ult disadvantage.
Wow, Death Blossom now has 3 ultimates walking into this next fight. Wow.
Really good. They're looking to go early through choke here. Don't know if this will be able to get anything. This is a really early... Oh, no, our Wrecking Ball. Oh.
Ball is off the map, it seems, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, okay, and mechanical error has taken
dives
hold.
the back line. Here comes the
We're going to need a big barrage.
It's Jizone. Max dies early to Shoreline and then goes down the far to Leo. We get a Kitsune, and it's not going to mean anything. Jedi looking to get a trade, but he won't even get a trade here. And that looks to be round 1 to Blackout.
You are really, really upset about that if you're a Death Blossom. Just really bad mechanical error there leading to lost early map. Well, they did have several ults. Hopefully Death Blossom will be able to keep themselves in the game. Yeah, hopefully they'll be able to keep themselves in the game and be telling each other, all right, you know, it's okay. We had a rough start, you know. We'll
really
just go
interesting
next
to see them stick the Mercy Freya for that long. I mean,
yeah, it's an interesting composition. The theory behind it, I think, you know, there's something interesting there. There's a bit of thought to it. However, in execution, it looks like they weren't quite able to pull it off. I mean, I think they're probably going to be the only team who will play Mercy Lucio today. So, you know, hats off to them for sticking with their own unique style of play.
Fortunately, it didn't work, but here we go. We've opted
Reinhardt.
onto a Reinhardt.
All right.
Reinhardt May Sojourn is the swaps that Death Blossom have made as they charge up to this high ground to look to take early control. Shoreline on the Ramatra, as aforementioned. He's very good on that hero. Soji into the hallway to stop the walk-up. Forces
like
an
they take
early
control
Suzu.
of high ground early. Blossom has early control. They just need to set up their angles, take time, start to poke out here. They're not really
much going on here. Yeah.
They have to give a lot of respect to that Hanzo pick.
As
Coming
point
doing
unlocks,
dividends.
Leo Leopard looks to force point as our Reinhardt drops to keep the contest.
Blossom just not taking space very well at all.
Blossom is just sitting on this high ground. I mean, nothing really is going on. Our Ryan is very low. Genji dashes into the back line. Finally. Oh, Max kills. And just like that, in the blink of an eye, they've got 2 picks. They kill their Genji and their Kiriko. Ryan pins out the ramp.
Overextended.
Now
Shoreline has no form. He's punishable
as
here.
he's getting swung on by Reinhardt. Lucio goes to high ground to try to force out the Sojourn, but has to cut his losses and leave. That's an early point cap for Death Blossom.
Nice, yeah. It looked a little scutched there at the beginning, but you know, it looks like Blackout overextended just a bit into them and got caught out there. Big by their Lucio getting that opening pick. It's interesting to see how Blackout wants to retake space.
I don't even know where that happened. It just in the blink of an eye they killed 2, and it was really easy.
Yeah.
Shoreline looking to force point here early as Blackout's May gets, or Death Blossom's May gets a little low, almost gets picked there. Now the Ryan has to drop point to keep the contest. Shoreline looking to just continuously poke this backline, make it uncomfortable for them to sit up there. Now, Leo Leopard onto the May, walls off their Reinhardt. OKC seems to be in a very bad spot as he pins to the backline. Shoreline uses form. A May wall comes out. A Kitsune from high ground here for Death Blossom. And
looks like Blackout's going to be able to kite this.
Big boop on the Rhine Shatter. It does catch 2. Lucio's on the ground and he will die. But our tank is alive and he is no longer alive.
Nice. The Shatter has won them the fight. Catching the Lucio and the Reinhardt there.
Do not talk to him until he's had his fat Shatter.
Indeed, indeed. However, a Blackout coming up on quite a lot of ults this next fight. So, I mean, really a lot of ults just in general will be in play.
Death Blossom has a lot too here. I mean,
yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how this fight evolves. Who decides to do what to try and make this fight messy.
Over to the Genji instead of the Soj.
Interesting. Looks like they're opting to try and force height here with support ults.
Force this high ground to make it a little uncomfortable, yeah. He's walking through little room here, walking
the Genji
up.
Off angle. This is good.
Ice Wall on both of their supports. Forces beat early. Now a Kitsune onto this high ground. Shoreline pops form. Now they get the better beat.
Much better beat, yeah.
No.
Looks
Genji looks to play behind. Big May wall. Forces out Mail too. Mayle's gonna catch a lot here. No, it's not actually. Shoreline dances the shield beautifully to avoid the LOS of the Mail.
Wow.
What? But it's still messy. They get a kill. Death Blossom gets a kill. They get a trade. They force Suzu. Now a May ult of their own. They forced May ult. Did Death Blossom out of Blackout there, even though that fight looked to be handily won.
Yeah, and I mean, really, really good hold from Death Blossom there. You're really happy about this if you're in their situation. But Blackout is halfway back to another Kitsune, and their Genji's halfway to Blade. So let's see if they're able to play slow and, you know, get a lot of value out of this Ram ult here.
They do have another Shatter here along with Overclock. We'll see if they use the Overclock aggressively and to look to take this high ground. As OKC gets walled off early here, he's in a really bad
watch
spot.
That Shatter.
Big Shatter on the Shoreline.
Shatter.
Shoreline gets Suzu, pops ult, but is pinned completely away from anybody. That Ramattra ult's gonna do nothing. Now the OC
he's got a shield.
main. OC looks to force May block from Leo Leopard. Leo's out of Ice Block. Looks like all of the ults here were just wasted.
But Death Blossom has been stuffed in a corner. They're just getting pummeled by the Ramattra.
The Sojourn main. A big pin in by OKC. Now the Kitsune comes through.
So much damage.
Dangerously low, and he's down again.
Well, they gotta get out of this choke point. They need an off angle to try and break
onto their Genji. They get a trade. It's getting messy again. Forces the Suzu. Kiriko falls low again. JML does fall, so nothing to worry about there.
Awesome is opted to just kite this, keeping their backline alive and not feeding ults. They really got to look to try and get out of the choke point there, because that's going to be
on the Ram
brutal.
ult was great, but nobody else. The Overclock seemed to just fall stale main and got nothing.
Yeah. We'll see how they opt to take some space here. It looks like they're trying to play slow for something.
And Shoreline's already 70% back to his Ram ult, by the way.
Huge.
Kitsune
opening with the Kitsune here.
Blackout. They're just going to rotate around point. They may ult. They rotate back to point. Gnar gets pinned. What a stupid decision they've made here. What a railgun here. Ooh. Shoreline walks back on the point. Looks to force OKC, but gets pinned again. Oh my goodness, OKC has been dominant on this Reinhardt. And the Ajax!
And an Ajax has happened.
Oh no!
Oh gosh, an Ajax.
And the Shatter for BM. Here comes the Blade. Maybe he's the hero of the story, but doesn't touch
He
the
doesn't
point.
get that touch. Yeah, I mean, really, that Death Blossom's early holds, 99% there, really paid dividends for them.
Really forces Blackout to play perfect, and you just can't do that.
Yeah, it's just really difficult there. So they're looking much stronger and a bit more of a standard brawl composition. You know,
yeah,
although it is
not expecting the Rhine to come out.
Yeah, it's a little unusual, but you know, it's the composition at least makes a lot more sense on paper, maybe than the composition that they brought out the first round. You know, which had a couple of pretty clear weaknesses in it. This one's a bit more standard
now from both Blackout and Death Blossom. I wonder if they're looking to TP just out of spawn or keep the sim in for the entirety of the game, but we'll see what comes out here. As both teams do look to TP outside of spawn. Deadeye does swap over to the Sojourn, but Leo Leopard stays on the sim.
Blackout is opting to run the sim here.
Here we go.
Death Blossom has early control of the point here.
They TP'd high ground onto
Blackout
this
is going for
Kiriko.
Oh,
but she gets a trade.
Shots.
What a two-tap, and TP's out to safety like nothing even happened. Like a thief in the night.
You asked earlier why Lucio Kiri? That is my answer.
That's why,
to you
ladies and gentlemen. That is why. Well, Blackout has the high ground. They look to TP back into this little room, but Ryan pins the sim off the TP. She almost gets killed there, but gets back to her TP. Gnar looks to flank, forces the TP here from Kiri super fast, but is going to back out here as he's getting pressure. Death Blossom does cap point here early. You are correct. Looks like they're just going to sit on this high ground. Now they're looking for a sim TP play. Baits the pin. Now the Rhine has nowhere to go. That was a big bait.
Leo falling really low. However, if they can just keep him up with this beam.
Leo Leopard has that level 3 beam, forces Ice Block on the point early. Now he pins back in. OKC, that's not the pin you want to have there. The Rhine falls super early. Ooh. Now Genji dashes into backline with his sim. Kiri TP's out to safety. Suzu's on the point, but she's got nowhere to go when the sim turrets lock on. JML looks to stall point here as they will fall out of line here.
Blackout taking the fight at 35%, a much better spot for them. Swapping to ball here. Now this is something I could not have predicted.
Oh no.
It wasn't just to try and get back to point. We're just running it.
Sticking it out.
Yeah, it looks like he does not want to play that Reinhardt into the sim matchup.
Aura, I guess that slam was for, but looks to force point here. Big boob out onto the Lucio. Lucio's really out of position here, but nobody's out of spawn. This ball is just in here early. As a male comes out, big Suzu and Kite. This male catches nothing. I mean, it's like the last Ice Agent. There's no point.
Yeah, there's a little bit more space for them. You know, they've made things a little chaotic.
The Blade comes out from Gnar here.
And it looks like he's going to catch the Sojourn.
Nice. Looks to kill the ball. Ball slides out super easily. May is on point here. Don't know how we got here, but gets a trade onto the Kiriko. Looks to kill Leo Leopard, but Leopard gets the pick back. Their Kiriko will fall as well. And
Blackout has won this chaotic fight. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why Blossom has opted for just a very strange comp swap here. You really,
Swapped
there
onto
it
the
is.
Pharah
Yeah,
instead
you
of the
really
Mei
wouldn't want to be
now.
on the Mei there. Yeah, you want something that's a little bit more mobile and able to follow up on those ball engages. The ball is set up. Looks like he's about ready to go in. But Shorelines, that E is just zoning them. Ball is
So
getting marked
disgusting.
really hard
Slams
by
the
this
Genji
Genji.
here, yeah. Look
Ball
at
it
the TP.
might die here.
May have messed up the
okay.
TP there a little bit by Leo Leopard. The TP falls just below the high ground, so they can't force out this far. She just gets to sit here for free.
Death
Going on the back line. Simwall comes out as the Kitsune does. Now a counter Kitsune from Blackout here. Daddy OKC's HP bar is non-existent. Everyone hit Q. Everybody hits Q.
And shapes, colors, numbers, buttons.
Oh my lord! Everybody's hitting Q. How am I supposed to cast? Mine to fucking. Excuse my language. Mine zones out backline. Shoreline takes a lot of damage from mines there. Now he'll look to hold on and clear mines early.
Sim has gotten out.
Sim TP's, but our Pharah is raining in damage. Sim 1. Gnar gets
in
a
the
pick.
chaos.
Gnar dies to Nax. What is going on here? Shoreline falls very low.
These dive
It doesn't
comps.
matter.
Thriving in the chaos.
Shoreline falls low again. Now he finally dies here. Now it's just the Kiri Lucio for Blackout as they look to just give up point here and reset.
Holy. The dive comp thrived in the chaos. It looks like they had the more mobile team composition, and they were able to survive throughout the utter chaos of just however many ults were popped there. Opting for a Juno Kiri.
Ults were popped there.
Something like that, except for Blade, which was used in the previous fight. An early slam engage here coming from Death Blossom, looking to make a little bit of chaos in this open space here. Hit them on rotation.
Genji's isolated completely. Oh, Pharah gets sucked out of the air by a nice Ravenous Vortex, but their Sim falls. A boop by their ball. That's disgusting. Ball looking to get set up here for another slam engage. Messes up the slam, but he's in there.
Trying to stabilize.
Super. Okay, Pharah gets back into the air.
Looks like a mine engage coming in here from our ball.
Oh,
and just carnage. Yeah, the name of the game in this matchup. I mean, this fight looks like it's the boop off the map. The name of the game in this matchup is essentially can Blackout catch somebody with the Sim TP? Can they get on top of that?
Look at the sneaky little Lucio from Blackout here.
He's stuck.
And
looks like he might be the touch.
No, he looks to get out. They TP back in here. The TP is going to fall early. Kiriko walks in and gets immediately picked.
Oh no, that is some miscommunication.
That is really not good.
There.
Lucio touches. Now the Blade comes out. He's still not the hero of this story. The Juno missiles are the hero of your story, ladies and gentlemen. The
Blade Jack and just walking into the ults here. Yeah. Blossom even still having the Kitsune in their back pocket just in case things got extra messy. Yeah, so really just, I mean, good compositional swap. It was a little awkward the way they got to it, but in the end it did work out well for them. As Blackout never was really able to quite gain their footing in the chaos that the ball, Pharah, and Sojourn were able to start causing. So really, really good compositional swap, and it paid dividends for them there in the end. As Death Blossom was able to take this first map.
A swap off the Sim once we saw the Pharah come out. It's a lot harder to navigate the Pharah angles because she can fly. You're not getting damage onto her consistently as you were when they had the Mei and the Sojourn. So maybe a little shift there should have happened, but ultimately it was just a really good ball Pharah play there. I mean, that's phenomenal stuff.
As well as that concussive blast into the Sim TPs. I mean, totally just scatters the team whenever they try and
also
go through
the poor communication on that last Sim TP of our Kiriko just walking out onto point and getting picked immediately is not what you want for your recontest. It's not great.
Yeah. So maybe would it have made a difference? Maybe. In fact, quite possibly no, because there were so many ults coming from Death Blossom there, as well as they had the early setup. But still stuff like that can be really important to try and avoid. And just making sure that everyone's on the same page when you're playing those sim comps. Is this a real TP? Are we gonna take this? Is it a fake TP just to bait attention? Get them to look away. So after that first map with the win going to Death Blossom, it would be really interesting to see where are we gonna go from here.
Yeah. We saw the Oasis. The Oasis had a bit of hybrid brawl dive there.
Yeah.
It looked like Death Blossom was a little bit better on the brawl, as Blackout was a little bit better on the dive with their Winston. Winston Genji comp was a lot better on City Center. So we'll see if Death Blossom opts to take them to another brawl map and force the brawl mirror, as we just saw there are We do go to King's Row, ladies
Ooh,
and gentlemen.
so much compositional variety for Kings Row.
This is another
Brawl
one
is
that you
fine
can
here.
also run the dive. I'm a little
Yeah,
interested to know as to why they've picked King's Row and, given Blackout the opportunity to flex
yeah,
to something like a Winston comp, which
yeah.
they saw way more success on earlier in the Oasis game. But we'll see what Blackout opts to do.
Yep.
Blackout's ban comes through first here because they did lose. See what they've
Uh,
got cooking in the pot.
yep. Yeah, Blackout. Yeah, Blackout did choose to ban first.
Oh,
Or yes. Hero bans and map picks. Each team is able to pick, a selection of if they would like a map pick or if they would like a hero ban. I believe it's the losing team that's able to choose, would they prefer to pick where they would like to go next for the map, meaning that the other team will then have the option of first ban. So that is how the system of maps and bans works, at least in this league here. So.
Blackout does opt to ban the Mei, so they are taking away a
Mm,
crucial brawl component away from Death
yeah,
Blossom here.
JML on the May did do pretty
Did
well
put in a
there.
lot of work,
Yeah,
and Death Blossom bans the Lucio.
Lucio
So we're
bans
gonna
only from
have
Death
to see
Blossom.
some flexibility from our main support players here on
Yeah,
this round.
it'll be really interesting to see. Although Death Blossom did play a bit of Kiri Juno, so they didn't look to be a team that
Be
was
too bad
too
off it.
reliant
They do also
on the
have a
Lucio.
sub coming in. Jack is
Yeah.
taking over the tank role for Daddy OKC.
Yeah, Jack, the player who played Roadhog and Junkrat, I believe yesterday. So just real thrilled to see
Real fun
what
stuff
he'll be giving us.
coming out of the bench here.
Yeah, what he'll be giving us today. So as our
As
teams
we
were
load
deciding which
into this
side they would like
first
to
map, or
load
we're
in.
loading into the second map. Sorry, what are we thinking composition wise? We did see the Lucio ban, so we are gonna have to see some main supports switch it up.
Yep. With the Ram still being in play here, be interesting to see if we'll see any Juno Brig with a Lucio ban in place, or if they'll opt for more of the Kiriko Juno. See if we'll get some more dive stuff coming in because it looks like Blossom's ball composition wasn't quite able to win against
We did
Blackout's
see
Winston
a little
composition.
bit over the EWC weekend. We saw a little BAP Lucio played. We might see a little bit of it here. This is a particularly good Baptiste map, so wonder
Yeah.
if he'll sneak his way in here with that Lucio ban coming through.
Yeah. Checkmate. We do have quite the bat player ourselves in Trico, or Gibby, as he's known on our team. So we'll be really interesting to see if we'll get any like Bap Lucio mirrors or Bap Juno mirrors, future on in this or later on in the
As we
tournament.
load in, ladies and gentlemen, this is the perfect map. I mean, if it was Christmas, it would be better, but Kings Row is a very good staple of this game.
Map
You
voting
love to see
has
it.
Map voting has gotten everyone very familiar with Kings Row. I'm sure, even
Yes.
more so than they already were. People freaking love this place.
Kings
Uh,
Row is just, dare I say, the perfect map. It's beautiful. And we've been kicked out.
and the match has been restarted.
All
Interesting.
right.
See what's going on there.
Little
Some
technical
technical difficulties of
difficulties never hurt
sorts.
nobody. Yeah.
Here, I mean, really, a lot of things could be played. Quick play rules were on for the game. It looks like so that's why we're
Wonderful.
having to restart real quick just to fix a couple things. Um, yeah, will be interesting to see what compositions get played because there's so much variety. I know good strategy is oftentimes to switch things up on that third point as well, as because it's rather unique compared to the other points, with a lot of more distanced sight lines, with even giving characters the opportunity to kind of just almost sit and spawn, just put your hit scan there, and they can just control so much of the map from their own spawn doors. So it'll be
Interesting if
interesting
we'll
to
see a
see.
little widow here. Get a
Yep.
little.
A little widow, a little bit more ranged options, or maybe that's where Baptiste could possibly get pulled out.
Yeah.
For
Maybe a little more
3-year
Freya
ranged
here. We
hits.
did see a little bit of Freya on City
That is
Center of
right.
Oasis, but the team's kind of shied away from the Freya on the other maps. So
Yeah,
we'll see if.
if JML is gonna pull out a little bit more tracer for us.
And now we're on nighttime Kings Row. Even better. As if this map couldn't get any better. You take it to nighttime and it just becomes beautiful.
Yep. We'll see if Blossom is gonna opt for another very unusual composition.
Yeah, wonderful to see the
Especially with
Freya Mercy early here again.
especially with Jack, who does play unusual characters, or if they have a strategy that they're going to pull out here that they haven't quite shown off yet.
Always good to have a wild card, you know. Is that Lifeweaver that I'm seeing on my screen right now?
You know, if they're actually going to play it, oh, I believe they're just doing it in Spawn to like put somebody up top. Yeah, but if they're going to play it, I mean, it wouldn't be unreasonable, especially with that Pharah.
Lifeweaver has gotten quite a lot of buffs over the recent patches, and he's become a little bit of an underdog.
Yeah, we ourselves have experimented a little bit with Lifeweaver to varying degrees of success. But yeah, it will be really interesting to see if anyone does.
JML on the Junkrat. You think that sticks, or is that going away?
I think that one probably won't stick. Oh, the
Jack's
Roadhog
on the Roadhog.
has come out for
Boy.
King's Row. This is unique.
And Leo Leopard is on that Freya. They're on the double. They're
body
on a
blocking
variation
for the Widow.
Double sniper.
I believe. Yeah,
it appears so. Yeah.
The Widow up there. It took a body shot from the Hanzo.
Yeah.
So yeah, early poke going on here. Shoreline is
trying to feel each other out.
On a brig, Hanzo Freya, so a little bit of double sniper.
Sniper going on.
And it looks like
Jack is on the flank here. Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Roadhog has...
This is a really
he's quick to sleep. Okay, he's across. He's anti. Hits the hook onto the Ana. That's a big hook.
Ooh, the Ana brig is able to keep each other alive up top
Jack
here.
is just taking so much damage from this Freya. Freya looks to kill the Pharah. Pharah gets dangerously low here as they kind of rotate back and set up. Nar hits the one shot onto the Pharah.
It's going to buy them a lot more space.
Jack gets antied again. Shoreline's very low because this Ana brig is having to deal with this Hog Juno on their high ground. But it doesn't matter because Nar is just annihilating on this Hanzo character. Jack gets a hook onto the brig, but gets slept, so he can't get the one shot. Now Leo comes to deal with this. Now they're all collapsing on this Juno Hog in this little room here. I mean, this is not fun. But he gets a pick. He kills the brig. His Juno is still alive.
This is making so much.
This is disgusting.
Noise. They need to watch their back here. That Forest man.
He killed the Orisa too.
Oh
now the Forest is here to clean up the mess.
Oh, what a shot from Nar, though.
Hits the one shot.
That is scary. That is something that they really need to start looking out for.
I mean, Prophet, is that you in Nar clothing? I mean,
looks like it seems they have to play slow here. Wait for a bit of a regroup, a recontest.
Orisa's still dead here, so Jack gets to take point for free. He's just gonna sit his piggy little self on point here as he gets antied. What a nade!
What a nade!
I mean, what a nade!
Opening that fight up, absolutely brutal. Interesting why they used the Ana ban as early as they did. If they were going
to bring the Hog in,
yeah, have they had a plan like pulling something like this out? Interesting why you wouldn't opt for the Ana ban on a map with longer sight lines.
Pharah's still in this backline. Nar's on the search.
But they don't see.
They're unaware. Yeah, Pharah's getting sneaky as their Tracer looks to blink into high ground and take control.
Coming up on a barrage.
Jack gets a one shot onto the Hanzo. And Appraisal comes here early and misses wildly. I don't know what that was for. Tracer misses Pulse. They slept the Pharah. Pharah's gonna die here.
They life grips the Roadhog away from the Orisa.
Shoreline dies to the whole hog. This whole hog's gonna be massive here. Freya's on the left side angle all alone. Can she look to stall here or do some damage or get out? She gets out because Jack misses the hook. But it does look like they're gonna cap first point here.
I believe the Nano didn't go through from the Ana there.
The Dragon comes through. Juno almost gets one. Jack is antied again. And he's going to fall, but they do get the brig. Ana picks because of the... Oh my goodness, it's chaotic. Nar kills two. It's just Tracer, and it's just Lifeweaver against Hanzo Orisa. The Hanzo will fall. Lifeweaver goes up to the pedal platform and then dashes to the high ground.
Such a survivable cast of characters they have left.
But maybe Shoreline can live here. No,
the
it
Tracer
doesn't look
and
like
the
he
Pharah
can.
and Weaver. Yeah, just too much survivability and mobility. They're just dancing around him, not letting him get on top
What a chaotic fight. I mean...
I honestly kind of like this comp from Death Blossom here. I think if you're going to play the Weaver, I mean, this is how you do it. You know, maybe they're using the Lifeweaver perk. You know, if we could see what perk that Lifeweaver has there as a cleanse, I think that could be a potentially good solution to that bit of the Ana situation that they have going on. So yes, they do have the Lifeweaver perk that cleanses debuffs.
As Jack looks to push his backline, he gets a hook onto the brig again. What a disgustingly good hook early here.
Yeah, just opening things
JML,
up.
2 shots, Leo Leopard. I mean, the double
That Pharah
direct.
spam is brutal, yes.
Oh, Pharah is just deciding to run the lobby.
I
Honda's
love the
1 HP. It's
Pharah
almost a
pick
matter
here.
of time.
Yeah, I love the Pharah pick here from Death Blossom. It's so good. The spam is so nice
And then
on
we
these
look
choke
on
points.
Cart, the lonely little life weaver.
Yes.
Aw.
With the Roadhog being unusual, I mean, this is a really cool composition.
This is how
from
you
Death
teach.
Blossom
This
here.
is how you catch a team off guard, ladies and gentlemen. You pull out something like the Roadhog.
Yeah, so I mean, some good
This is
work
the
has
hook
been
and
done.
gets anti. He's probably gonna die
There's the
here
nade.
early though.
There's
what a
the
life
perk.
grip.
There's
That's
the
just
perk coming in big
phenomenal
there.
stuff there by their life weaver.
They've lost a lot of
Leopard looks
space.
to take the high ground.
Yeah, let's see how they retake it. They have both
Mara looks to get
supports
on this
and a
flank now,
barrage.
over the top.
They got a wall.
Mara's looking for it. Big barrage on the shoreline. Leo
And
Leopard gets the trade.
also kind of
Oh,
blew
as Jack gets a hook
himself
onto
up
their
there.
Ana.
But
And
Jack popping
kills
off.
both
Oh my god.
supports, man. Oh my god, what a pig pin throw. I mean,
Holy.
This
Jack
guy is
popping
insane.
Off there. Yeah, this is a really interesting comp. I'm really interested to see if Death Blossom is able to pull
Shoreline
more stuff like this out.
swaps on to the
Yeah, to the
Ramattra
Ramattra.
off the
One of-
Orisa.
A comfort pick from
Maybe a
Shoreline
little
coming out
comfort
here.
pick here, yeah. Getting
Yeah.
a little flustered.
Yeah, however, the matchup into the Roadhog can be a little rough from that Ramattra.
Got over
so-
onto the cash rather than the Hanzo. Shoreline gets picked
Oh, what
early
a
again.
hook! The turn hook there from the Roadhog. I mean,
misses wide
huge stuff.
again. I mean, Leo, we've got to
that
hit
life.
one of those, man.
I love this comp from Death Blossom. I mean, really, it's throwing Blackout for such a loop here. They don't quite
Nard
know how to play
gets
into
one clipped by Deadeye. They're just looking to snowball this really early into a 3rd-point win here.
it. Yeah, I mean, it's looking
JML
likely.
finds a pick onto the Ana.
Yeah, they're
Pulses
coming up on the
break.
Juno here.
Oh
I mean,
my
it looks like Death Blossom
goodness.
caps this. Shoreline can do nothing but sit in the corner
Shoreline
and
just gonna
block
sit there
as he
and
gets
hold
hooked
arms,
out of
but it's
it.
not enough. His
Yeah,
arms were
I
just
mean-
too short to box with God. That is Jack. I mean, that's...
Oh,
Leo Leopard does get the touch onto the Tracer, forced to recall
the
early.
Ana's back
As
here.
Jack
They
gets
do have
swept,
Nano.
Satellite Vector comes through, and there's no touch.
with Nano and just about Rally in play. That
My
hurts for
goodness.
Blackout there. I mean, just great stuff from Death Blossom. They struggled a little bit on first point, but they kind of just snowballed things with their
They
ults.
figured it out.
Yeah, I mean, love the
Jack-
comp from them.
Jack hit, I think, 3 crucial hooks down the stretch that just opened
Yeah.
up the game for him.
Great stuff there from Death Blossom. Love seeing unique compositions like that. The theory behind it's quite interesting with the Weaver, just utilizing his range and his pedal to pocket those more mobile DPS characters from range.
And as
I
you
mean,
spoke on earlier, they're going to pick the Ana into the Hog for the easy antis, and then the cleanse perk on Life Grip is just so detrimental to like forcing Ana cooldowns. It's wonderful.
that along with the Juno for the speed. I mean, really interesting composition here from Death Blossom. I'm sure they've tried this out and seen a bit of success with it. So there's going to have to be quite some adjustments that'll be made here from Blackout. Yeah, if they want to bring things home, because they really were quite thrown off by this rather unusual composition. So I mean, really good strategy coming through from Death Blossom here. I'm curious as to
Heavily
how they
flustered.
started. Yeah, it's curious as to how they figured out some stuff like this.
But now we're
this
onto
will be
the
really
Echo
Yeah.
for Death Blossom here. I like it a little more. We're on the Mauga for Shoreline here to combat this Hog comp.
Ooh.
Wonder that's going to be really hard to run into this Echo Hanzo comp. We'll see how it plays
Yeah,
out.
Take a lot of damage. Yeah, I mean, oh, okay, we're opting for the
Oh,
Diva.
we're on to the Diva. Okay.
Wonder
That's-
if we'll swap once we see that Echo. 'Cause the Echo is a little bit more threatening for Diva to
Did
do
I?
that.
Shoreline
Early
goes
hook coming
early
in from Jack.
again. I mean, Jack just
getting
doesn't
poked
miss.
Getting his
He's got
armor chunked
somebody
here.
check his PC. I mean, hey, looking
Looks
to
like
opt to
Blackout's-
rotate top ground, high ground, top left.
This is going to be brutal into that Echo Hanzo spam.
Yeah.
Blackout not managing to take any damage through
I
that
mean,
rotation.
their Juno's
I think
caught
that
out.
Diva DM.
Luckily, she gets healing from her Kiriko, so she can rotate with them. They're looking to flip map here, it seems. This Echo
Blossom is
really needs to
responding
get
well. Blackout's responding very, very well to this play. They've just flipped the map
They've
here
just flipped
entirely.
map. Taking statue side, which is very good here. As they look to dive JML early here, Shoreline has to back out. He
It's
just took
just
so much
whoever-
damage on the entry.
Yeah, whoever makes a mistake here just loses. I mean, we're just running around in
Shoreline
circles.
looks to-
Whoever's a little slow on the rotation. Oh, looks like
Jack
and
hits a
here
hook
it is.
onto the Tracer. Of all characters, he hits the Tracer hook.
Oh,
and now
and
Nars
there it
into the
is.
backline, looking to kill the Hanzo. He gets beamed off by the Echo.
Doesn't
Shoreline
quite get the
does
hook
find
on
a
that
trade
Juno
onto
there.
their Juno, and the Weaver goes down really low. Weaver forced to drop on a point as Shoreline loses his mech, but JML does fall. As so
As
does the
Baby
Life
Diva.
Weaver. Baby Diva falls, but now they're back on the Pharah. Echo is 1 HP. Hit one more rocket and she dies. There it is,
Echoes,
finally.
yeah.
And now Jack will fall too.
And Blackout
Very
made the
good.
fight really hectic. They just kept
Really
rotating.
good rotations there. I mean,
From both teams. I mean, really good response by Death Blossom to the strange play that Blackout was going. I mean, just a lot of practice showing its results.
this is phenomenal. I mean, this is good stuff here. This is a very evenly killed match here, it seems, after they've taken the awe and shock of the hard comp. They seem to have, Blackout seems to have settled down a little bit here and have found their groove.
Yeah, no,
Jack gets an early hook on the Gnar again.
I mean, that's brutal. Just mechanical
guy,
potential for plays.
This guy has to be... Someone check this guy's PC.
And the shot from the Hanzo. I mean, really, that's just a fight won purely off of mechanics there.
And there's
just hitting a hook, hitting Hanzo headshots. Both supports taken down by this Hanzo. JML just hitting the shots when it's necessary. And they just get to win a fight for free. I mean, they're coming up on 5 ults
JML almost falls there, getting a little greedy up on that high ground.
Yeah, gotta be careful against that Pharah. Still, just having that baby D.Va in play. Let's see if they'll be able to get the stagger. No,
D.Va gets mech back here.
Gonna get that
his mech. But another
and
hook
just
from Jack.
again, just mechanical error from Blackout, losing them yet another fight. Although they do have 4 ults here. I mean, it's going to be a real messy next fight.
Whether it's 20 meters, whether it's 15 meters, whether it's 5 meters, it doesn't matter. This hook connects wherever you go across the map. Jack is just dominating here.
Yeah, I mean, this
5 ultimate fight though. There comes the Kiriko ult very quick
Kitsune
from the high
early
ground.
here.
This Kitsune
Hanzo falling
is...
low. There's the tree. Kitsune's caught with tree.
Okay.
Echo coming through,
Everybody
catching a
hit
pick
buttons.
on Leo off screen.
Okay, Jack just a whole hog into the
Huge
into
ult
the
spike from
Juno.
Death Blossom.
I mean,
And Blackout was not able to survive the giant
you know
ult
what? It's
dump
fine
there.
though because they get out 4 ults here. As to Blackout only still has 2 ults here, and that Rage Axe is good.
That is brutal for Shoreline to get D-Max there. Oh, he's D-Maxed in spawn.
Do you think he'll swap to a character and then back to the D.Va to get the mech?
Yeah, he has his ult. I doubt he will.
I don't think he knows about it.
He may know, but he has his bomb.
Hooked. And
he's
then
just
Jack just decides to snuff that flame out before it even gets lit.
I believe he was trying to just not stagger the fight any more than he had to. Just kind of walked out, just let it happen. So,
okay,
unfortunate.
Blackout does have ult advantage here now because Death Blossom, I mean, kind of blew their load early there at last fight.
Yeah, so let's see if Death Blossom is able to kite and re-engage when these ults are starting to get used here from Blackout.
Speedwing comes out to get Jack out of a little bit of pressure. His trap does get triggered by the Genji, though. He's looking for that hook. He's looking for it. He wants it, but he backs out. Dragon comes through. Genji forced to dash above it so he doesn't take damage. Here comes the Ray now.
Here's the Ray coming down from Blackout. Let's see if they're able to catch anything. There's the life grip. There's the Weaver value coming in really big for Death Blossom there.
Just walked away like it was nothing.
Yep, there's one ult, and all they got out of it was a bit of space. Now, Leo really just needs to find some staging for this barrage here.
Finally, Jack misses a hook.
Yeah, Leo looking for this barrage here. Keep an eye on that.
Jack is taking so much damage here. He needs to be careful, but he hits another crucial hook on the Shoreline.
Yeah, forcing that early Matrix, just messing up these pushes before they even happen.
Dives with bombs into the back
early
line.
bomb.
It gets nothing.
Doesn't quite work out.
Kills himself,
Leo
basically.
looking for this
Jack
barrage
gets
here.
another hook onto Gnar, and the barrage comes through late, and it gets a kill onto JML. But dies early to the...
Yeah, these hooks from Jax just killing Blackout's engages before they're even able to happen. Will they be able to get this Kiri stagger here? It's just barely not going to happen. Holy.
By the skin of his teeth, some would say.
Yeah, so really rough.
Death Blossom is just coming up again on 5 ults.
Yeah,
but they do have Blade. Will we finally see a Genji hero play come through this tournament or this match?
Yeah, we're gonna need to see some big error from Death Blossom here.
Shoreline again back onto the Ram. I mean, it's just got to be comfort pick at this point. I don't know.
Yeah. If we want Blackout to take this next fight, you're hoping that Death Blossom really messes up, one of their 5 ultimates.
Shoreline gets hooked early again. Here comes the Blade. The Blade's into the backline. It's sped. The Juno gets killed. JML falls also to Shoreline. The Blade comes back and binds Jack as well. Dashes onto the Life Weaver, gets that kill too. Gnar is the hero of your story, ladies and gentlemen.
Genji. My gosh, into the 5 ult advantage. Yeah, Blossom just never quite got their ults out. They never quite set them up. I mean, great stuff.
And did not blink.
Blackout opting for Zenyatta swap. Probably for a little bit more pressure onto the Roadhog here.
And Death Blossom swaps over to the Ashe here.
Early Ray here
pick. As Shoreline gets hooked back into the backline again. Shoreline is probably going to fall again.
Great shot from JML.
Just dead.
Oh,
Great stuff. Great shot from JML there. And nice just early Ray engage. Just caught them out.
Yeah,
Nice little sheep fight win there for Death Blossom.
The early hook on a Shoreline into the Ray just to, you know, make sure that he dies there for free is just devastating, man.
Yeah, these mechanical plays from Jack have been getting a lot of value here.
We clowned the hog a little bit earlier, but it seems that we've been disproven.
I mean, I'm down to see unusual character picks. I will say, I love seeing a bit of meta variety here. Just another hook from JML. But Gnar is set up. He's zoning backline a bit.
Forces Tree and a copy as a Kitsune comes out for Blackout.
Yep.
Tree goes down.
Bit of chaos.
Jack hooks, almost hooks Shoreline off the map, but he gets back on. What an almost devastating mistake Shoreline made there.
Coming up on ult. Leo's coming up on this.
Hooks the Zen, but he has to reload. He couldn't get the kill.
Don't quite get the pick.
There's
the ball.
Hits
There's the ball.
Big new Bangada, but it gets life
and
grip.
The life grip.
Damage there.
Whoever comes up on an ult first here has just got to pop it. They have no life grip, so Blackout should really look to go now.
This Weaver off the high ground, he gets him off. Finally, Jack is on point, looking to impose his will onto Shoreline here.
Yeah, looking for a hook, probably to follow that up into whole hog here.
Misses
To try
the hook onto Leo Leopard, but Leopard is still low, so that's no pressure. The Bob comes out here. What is Robert going to find? He's into the back line, but the trance comes out really early here. They're looking to melt Bob. Bob's going to get no value as he dies super quick. Shoreline's under the back line. I blinked and he's gone. He's taking a lot of damage. He's back out to pop the annihilation. Jack misses the hook, but he does get the whole hog. Now the blade comes out into the back line, looking to kill the Ash here. Is he going to get there? He finally gets it, and the Weaver dies too. Now Jack is in a really bad position, but they look to kill the Echo instead. Echo falls. Now Ray comes out here from Max, but he gets
Leo
slowed.
on the Freya.
Big slow from Shoreline there.
It's just the lone hog on point with this Ray. He's going to live for a bit, but I don't think it'll be enough.
But they do get them to overtime, and Death Blossom's
JML
swapping
to the Tracer.
Advantage.
Yep, and just for a slight attempt at stalling
just a
here.
Little stagger here and there.
Oh, the tree doesn't come out from Lifeweaver. Oh, that's really, really unfortunate.
But attacker's advantage for Death Blossom for 2 minutes. Can they withstand that to get a draw here?
Let's see. I mean, this could be one of our best games yet. I mean, good first match, and if we're able to get a draw here, this would definitely be one of the best matches that we've seen so far in the series.
This has been.
We could see the first push map coming out here, so this could be a really, really good match this early on.
This is just really good stuff here by both teams. It seems a really, really tug of war here. It's a push and pull, man. They're going at it.
Yeah, and Blackout was able to make the adjustments that they needed to play into Blossom's more unusual composition.
Survived the initial shock of the hog and kind of pulled it back.
Yeah, so let's see if Death Blossom is able to pull out another strange composition here for us, or if they're going to stick to the same strange composition that they've been playing for the map so far.
Now we're on to the Junkrat here for Blackout. Maybe to just farm an early tire?
Yeah, just look to control and spam. I mean, into what Blossom has been playing. I don't know how good the Junkrat's gonna feel. I mean, into the Lifeweaver, the Tracer, the Freya. I mean, I guess you can farm the Roadhog a bit, but I mean, the Juno flies, the Weaver sits on his pedal, the Freya flies, and the Tracer's all over the place. I mean,
just look to farm hog for tire here, I guess.
Yeah, I think the Hanzo was getting a lot more value. So I'm not quite sure why Gnar swaps off, but we'll see what he's able to do on this Junkrat pick here.
See what innovation he can bring with this Junkrat character. Again, Death Blossom looks to rotate high ground left.
Can just
to
clear
flip
things.
map a little bit.
Let's see if they'll fall for the same play again. Blackout will.
But the Weaver and Freya are still main. Shoreline looks to kill the Freya here early.
Shoreline's been left on a bit of an island here. He falls really, really low. And Blossom is making things strange with the rotation. Wait, Blackout did not respond.
Hits another hook.
Yeah, Blackout just did not respond to that rotation.
Blackout. The hook comes through, and it looks like that's going to spell death for Blackout here. Shoreline looks to go back onto the hog that slept. We're giving up so much space, but he does slow the Juno.
Not an ult in sight for Blackout here.
JML, do him dirty. Talk to me nicely. As he kills 3, maybe 4. And that's going to be all she wrote.
Yeah. Really good stuff from Death Blossom there. Very unusual composition. Not quite the draw that would have been really interesting to see, but Death Blossom has taken this match here. So really, really interesting stuff. Yeah, and Death Blossom has won the series. 2-0.
Yeah, this Gnar Hanzo here was just, I mean, an absolute game changer. I mean,
really
look at
good
this.
Stuff from Gnar on the Hanzo. so much spam damage.
Oh my lord.
Great
Kills
shots
too. I mean, through the ray as well. Gross.
Yeah, really, really, really interesting to see that composition come out from Death Blossom. We'll be super curious as to how they're going to continue to, make adjustments and, evolve the compositions that they play, because they're definitely one of the most unique teams in the league, if not the most unique team here.
Yeah, love to see a team getting a little funky and getting a little fresh.
Yeah.
We said that, Ram kind of runs the meta, and you saw a lot of that out of Shoreline, but it's always fun to see something that's not, holding arms.
Yes, yes. It'll be interesting to see if Death Blossom will want to do an interview here. That would be very nice to get to talk to them, talk to Blossom, and see what's going on with some of these compositions.
Yeah, what's the thought process behind the hog? I mean, obviously it works, so
so we'll see if they're going to opt for that. But again, just really, really good play on that initial King's Row. It looks like it's probably one of their better maps, if I had to imagine, with that weird composition that people probably won't be able to adjust to too quickly. As well as the general really good play from them in the way that they rotated and took space on that first point there. See if there will be an interview with maybe perhaps Coach Tool of Death Blossom.
The map flip was just executed beautifully. The rotations by both teams were really, really good.
Looks like we will, in fact, get an interview.
As we look to get an interview with the coach of
Coach
Death
Tool.
Blossom here.
Hello,
Hello,
Coach
hello.
Tool.
Hello. How's it going?
Great.
Okay.
Going good. Going good.
We have
Great
to talk
stuff
about
by
the
your
hog
players.
comp here. I mean, first and foremost, take us through, some scrims that were good with that hog comp that made you confident to play it here today. Like what led to that being brought out of the toolbox here?
What led to that? Well, it's because I have this big, sexy Roadhog player named Jack on my team, and as you could see, he's what we call a professional hooker. So
Yeah. I see. Okay. So
It
you've
hit a
got-
lot of hooks. Hit a lot of
Yeah.
very clutch hooks.
But
Yeah.
what makes that comp really tick is that we're just really good at just playing. Everybody else plays their space. We don't. All you could do is jump Roadhog. Well, guess what? Probably one of the hardest characters to kill in the fucking game. So
Yeah.
good
as
luck
well as
with
that
that.
life grip there. Yeah. I'm curious. What makes you guys decide to play the Life Weaver with that? Do you have just a person who likes playing Life Weaver? Or?
Low key,
See
Onion
success on
doesn't
it?
even play Life Weaver. He's like, I can try
That's
to.
crazy.
That's funny. So why play it then?
Because Jack's that good.
Really?
That's simple. He's just that good at Roadhog.
So he likes playing with the Life Weaver then. He just likes playing Roadhog.
No, he doesn't care who's with him. He's just that good. So and Life Weaver is like a free pull. So I don't know. It's a lot safer than Kiri. It's like you can't play S space with Kiri either. So it's like Life Weaver. You could just play a mile away. You have pedal. Like I don't know. What are you gonna do? You can't jump Life Weaver when he has pedal.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I mean, really, really unique composition coming out from you guys there. I'm sure you're real proud of your players for pulling that one off.
Yeah, you guys.
really
It looked early on that you guys caught them off guard. You snowballed. I mean, all the way to third point super easily. And then, they did kind of reel themselves in on their attack, but, you guys stay solid, stayed true, and, pulled out a really impressive win there. That was a really, really close map at times. Really good stuff to see from you guys.
Yeah, I'm curious. Can we expect to see more really unique and unusual hero comps from you guys? Like more like Mercy Lucio, perhaps more of that, Life Weaver Roadhog stuff going on.
I guess only time will tell.
Only time will tell.
Only time will tell. I'll be real interested to keep tabs on it and see, what will Death Blossom be playing for us today.
I don't know. It's a roll of the marbles for myself half the time before we even start the thing. Honestly,
it's always good to have.
I will say
a deep bag.
No, of course. I say, well, when CGL Diamond does start, we'll probably be playing a little bit more normal, but we're seeing what our comps can be. Now, I will say though, those are some of our real comps. I just want to show everybody that we're going to be the most flexible team all year long. So
I'm sure that'll be really, really
bold claim here, ladies and gentlemen. The most flexible team in the league.
With hero fans, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure with hero fans, that'll make you guys really, really scary. Then, if you're able to just adjust and you ban one weird composition and now they're playing more strange things. So
you want to ban Roadhog? We'll play Doom. Well, you want to play Doom? You want to ban Doom? Oh, we can play Ball. I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. You pick your poison.
Well,
good to hear.
Great stuff. Good to hear from you. I hope you guys, go ahead and celebrate your win there, because I mean,
of course,
I think that was one of the more entertaining ones to see as far as compositional. But no more Ramatra blocking. No, we got a Roadhog.
yeah.
All over the map.
Also, I have a Ryan shield for that too, so it's okay.
Yeah, no.
I was happy I got to play a map. I was like, I kind of wanted to play at least one map this tourney. I was like, I don't play anymore usually, but I was like, oh, my take's out here. We can start it up. I'll play one.
All right.
Well, you guys did phenomenal. Thank you for stopping by for the interview.
I appreciate the casting and everything, and I was happy to do this interview.
Of course.
Pickle, Goat, NA Prod. Love you, Pickle.
There we go. Showing some love to the fellow competitors.
I mean, he beat my ass. He beat our ass yesterday, but it's okay. I at the end of the day, I love to talk my shit, but if you beat me, you earn my respect. Reverts earned it last season. People will do that, man. It happens. I'm gonna talk my shit just because that's just how I am. I want to be entertaining. I like to call myself the Stephen A. Smith of Diamond Tier, so that's just how I am.
We worked hard. We prepared a lot on some of our compositions and with our strategy. I mean, you guys did a great job at controlling space, and that's something that I think it'll be interesting to see how our duels unfold with you guys as we're looking to control space across the map. So
of course, you're our number one target currently. So
really,
that's that one's circled on my calendar.
Some playful banter.
Well, I'm looking forward to playing you guys again. I mean, really, just really fun stuff from you guys there. So,
at the end of the day, we're all here for fun, aren't we? Like, I mean, we want to win, obviously, but at the end of the day, games are for fun. So, that's how it is.
Yeah. Well, thank you for stopping by. We look forward to seeing more interesting stuff come from you guys later down the road. And congratulations on your win today.
Yeah. Thank you guys. You all have a good rest of your night.
All right, same to you.
All right, see y'all.
All right,
bye.
Was Coach from Death Blossom coming through to talk to us a bit.
Some interesting words from the coach.
So that was Coach for Death Blossom coming through. It was great talking to him. It's my first time speaking with him personally.
Little playful banter between coaches there.
Yes, you can look forward to next time that Checkmate and Blossom play each other. That should be a really entertaining match. Since we beat them last time, I'm sure they'll be looking to get back against us. So we will be doing our very best to prepare for that. So great stuff there. All right. After now our match is done, so we'll probably be looking to go because Checkmate does have their own match. So we will be looking to.
Yep. Solar versus Rat Milkers is the next game we will cast, but Solar is locked in a heated duel right now, it seems, with Cut a Puddle, so we'll throw you guys over to that and see you later for our next game.
Yep. So